Do you have a shady spot in your yard that you think is a gardening dead zone? What if I told you that shade gardens can actually be more beautiful, more colorful, and more interesting than sunny gardens? You just need to know which plants to choose. Today, I'm revealing 10 incredible shade-loving plants that will transform those dark, boring corners into lush, vibrant displays that rival any flower bed. These aren't just plants that tolerate shade. These are plants that actually prefer it, that thrive in low-light conditions, and that create stunning effects with foliage, flowers, and texture that sun-loving plants simply can't match. Whether you're dealing with the deep shade under mature trees, the dappled shade on the north side of your house, or just a spot that never sees direct sun, these plants will turn your problem area into your garden's showpiece. Stick around because number 3 has foliage so colorful and striking that it stops people in their tracks, yet it grows in shade so deep that almost nothing else will survive. But before we dive into these shade garden superstars, if you're ready to transform your shady spots from boring to beautiful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more gardeners who need shade solutions. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss our weekly gardening videos. All right, let's get into the video. Here's what most gardeners don't understand. Shade is not the enemy. In fact, some of the most beautiful, sophisticated, and low-maintenance gardens are shade gardens. But you absolutely must choose the right plants. Trying to force sun-loving plants into shade is a recipe for disappointment and failure. The problem is that garden centers are filled with sun-loving annuals and perennials because that's what most people ask for. The shade section is often an afterthought with limited options. This gives gardeners the impression that shade means limited choices and boring gardens. Nothing could be further from the truth. Shade gardens offer unique advantages that sun gardens don't have. They require less watering because shade retains soil moisture, need less weeding because fewer weed seeds germinate in shade, stay cooler in summer making them more comfortable to work in, and support plants with incredible foliage diversity that would scorch in full sun. The key is understanding your shade type and choosing appropriate plants. There are several types of shade. Partial shade receives 3 to 6 hours of sun, often morning sun. Light shade has dappled or filtered sunlight all day. Full shade receives less than 3 hours of direct sun, and deep or dense shade gets virtually no direct sun, often under evergreens or north-facing walls. Each shade type supports different plants. The plants I'm sharing today are organized from those needing the least shade, partial shade, to those thriving in the deepest shade. This helps you match plants to your specific conditions. These 10 plants are chosen based on their shade tolerance, beauty and ornamental value, ease of care and maintenance, availability at nurseries, and versatility in different garden situations. These are proven performers that will make your shade garden spectacular. So let's jump into number 10 and work our way to the absolute best shade plant you can grow. Number 10. Astilbe. Astilbe times Arensi. Starting at number 10, we have Astilbe, a classic shade perennial with feathery plumes of flowers and attractive fern-like foliage that brings color and texture to shady gardens. Shade requirements: partial to full shade. Astilbe tolerates some morning sun but needs protection from hot afternoon sun. It performs best with dappled shade throughout the day. Appearance and features: Astilbe forms clumps of deeply divided fern-like foliage that's attractive even when not blooming. The foliage is glossy and dense, typically 12 to 18 inches tall. In late spring to midsummer, depending on variety, Astilbe sends up feathery flower plumes 18 to 36 inches tall in shades of pink, red, white, purple, or peach. The flowers last 2 to 4 weeks, and many varieties have attractive seed heads that persist into fall. Growing conditions: Astilbe needs moist, rich soil. It will not tolerate drought. It prefers slightly acidic soil with plenty of organic matter. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, though it struggles in hot, humid climates. Consistent moisture is absolutely critical for success. Best uses. Astilbe is perfect for planting along shady stream banks and pond edges, massing for dramatic flower displays, mixing with hostas and ferns for textural contrast, adding vertical interest to shade borders, and filling in under trees and shrubs. Care and maintenance. Keep soil consistently moist, water during dry spells. Mulch to retain moisture and keep roots cool. Deadhead spent flowers, or leave seed heads for winter interest. Divide every 3 to 4 years in spring to maintain vigor. Fertilize in spring with compost or balanced fertilizer. Varieties to try. Bridal Veil has pure white flowers. Fanal has deep red flowers and bronze foliage. Peach Blossom has soft peachy pink flowers. And Deutschland has white flowers and is very floriferous. Pros. Beautiful flowers and foliage. Relatively long bloom period. Attractive seed heads. Deer-resistant. And comes in many colors. Cons. Requires consistent moisture. Will struggle in drought. Can be expensive. And struggles in hot, dry climates. Astilbe is a shade garden staple that rewards you with stunning flower plumes if you meet its moisture needs. Number 9. Coral Bells, Heuchera species. At number 9 is Coral Bells, also called Heuchera, a versatile shade perennial grown primarily for its stunning foliage that comes in an incredible range of colors: purple, orange, lime, silver, burgundy, and more. Shade requirements. Partial shade to full shade. Coral bells tolerate morning sun, but need afternoon shade, especially in hot climates. Many varieties perform best in bright shade or dappled light. Appearance and features. Coral bells form neat mounds of rounded, lobed leaves 8 to 12 inches tall. The foliage is evergreen or semi-evergreen in mild climates. What makes Heuchera special is the incredible range of foliage colors available, from dark purple-black to bright chartreuse, from peachy orange to silvery pewter, often with contrasting veining or overlays. In late spring to early summer, delicate stems rise 18 to 24 inches tall, bearing tiny bell-shaped flowers in white, pink, or red. Growing conditions. Coral bells prefer well-drained soil. They don't like wet feet, especially in winter. They thrive in rich, organic soil, hardy in zones 4 through 9 depending on variety. More cold, hardy varieties have green or purple foliage, while less hardy types tend to have brighter colors. Best uses. Coral bells are excellent for edging shady pathways and borders, adding colorful foliage to shade gardens, planting in containers for patio shade, mass planting for dramatic foliage effects, and combining with hostas, ferns, and other shade perennials. Care and maintenance. Remove dead or damaged leaves in spring. Cut back flower stems after blooming. Divide every 3 to 4 years in spring. Older plants can become woody and heave out of the ground. Apply light mulch, but don't bury the crown. In cold climates, mulch after ground freezes for winter protection. Varieties to try. Palace Purple has deep purple leaves, classic variety. Caramel has peachy orange foliage. Obsidian has nearly black leaves. Lime Ricky has chartreuse foliage. And Silver Scrolls has silver leaves with dark veining. Pros. Incredible foliage color diversity. Evergreen or semi-evergreen, relatively compact, deer-resistant, and works well in containers. Cons. Can be short-lived, 3 to 5 years. May heave out of soil in winter, requiring replanting, and some varieties struggle in hot, humid climates. Coral bells bring more foliage color options to shade gardens than almost any other plant. Number 8. Bleeding Heart, Dicentra spectabilis. Coming in at number 8 is Bleeding Heart, a beloved old-fashioned perennial with distinctive heart-shaped flowers that dangle from arching stems like jewels in the spring shade garden. Shade requirements. Partial, to full shade. Bleeding Heart prefers morning sun with afternoon shade or dappled shade all day. It tolerates deeper shade but may bloom less. Appearance and features. Bleeding Heart forms graceful mounds of deeply cut, fern-like blue-green foliage, 24 to 36 inches tall. In mid to late spring, arching stems emerge covered with dangling heart-shaped flowers with a protruding drop at the bottom. Classic varieties have pink hearts with white drops, but white and red varieties exist. The bloom period lasts 4 to 6 weeks. After blooming, the foliage often goes dormant by midsummer, especially in heat. Growing conditions. Bleeding Heart prefers rich, moist, well-drained soil with plenty of organic matter. It needs consistent moisture during the growing season, hardy in zones 3 through 9. The plant naturally goes dormant in summer heat. This is normal, not a problem. Best uses. Bleeding Heart is perfect for spring shade borders, planned for its dormancy, woodland gardens, planting with ferns and hostas that will fill in after it goes dormant, cottage gardens, and creating romantic old-fashioned garden effects. Care and maintenance. Keep soil moist during the growing season. After foliage yellows and dies back, you can cut it to the ground or leave it to decompose naturally. Mark the location so you don't accidentally dig into dormant plants. Bleeding Heart doesn't require division and can be left undisturbed for many years. Varieties to try. Alba has pure white flowers. Gold Heart has chartreuse gold foliage with pink flowers, stunning. Valentine has deep red flowers. And Dicentra luxuriant is a different species that blooms longer and doesn't go dormant, burgundy red flowers. Pros. Stunning, unique flowers, attractive foliage, very cold hardy, long-lived, and classic cottage garden charm. Cons. Goes dormant by midsummer, leaves a gap in the garden, can be slow to establish, and doesn't bloom well in deep shade. Bleeding Heart is a spring showstopper that creates magical effects in the shade garden. Number 7. Japanese forest grass, Hakonechloa macra. At number 7 is Japanese forest grass, an elegant ornamental grass that brings graceful movement and stunning foliage color to shade gardens where most grasses won't grow. Shade requirements. Partial to full shade. Japanese forest grass is one of the few ornamental grasses that actually prefers shade. It tolerates morning sun but needs afternoon shade, especially in hot climates. Appearance and features. Japanese forest grass forms cascading mounds of narrow arching leaves 12 to 18 inches tall and 18 to 24 inches wide. The foliage moves gracefully in the slightest breeze, creating beautiful movement in the garden. The standard form has bright green foliage, but variegated varieties offer gold and green or gold foliage that absolutely glows in shade. In fall, the foliage turns shades of pink, red, and burgundy before going dormant. Growing conditions. Prefers rich, moist, well-drained soil with plenty of organic matter. Needs consistent moisture for best performance. Hardy in zones 5 through 9. More cold hardy than many assume, but appreciates winter mulch in zone 5. Best uses. Japanese forest grass is perfect for adding texture and movement to shade gardens, planting on slopes where it cascades beautifully, edging shady pathways and borders, growing in containers for patio shade, and combining with hostas and ferns for textural contrast. Care and maintenance. Keep soil consistently moist. Cut back old foliage in late winter before new growth emerges. Divide every 4 to 5 years if clumps become too large, though this is rarely necessary. Mulch in fall for winter protection in cold climates. This is a slow-growing grass. Be patient with establishment. Varieties to try. Aureola has golden yellow leaves with thin green stripes. Most popular variety, stunning. All Gold has completely gold foliage. albostriata has white and green variegation, and the species has solid green foliage. Pros: beautiful, graceful form, stunning foliage color, especially variegated varieties, adds movement to shade gardens, excellent fall color, and one of the few grasses for shade. Cons: slow growing, can be expensive, and requires consistent moisture. Japanese forest grass is one of the most elegant plants you can add to a shade garden. Number 6. Brunnera. Brunnera macrophylla. Sliding into number 6 is Brunnera, also called Siberian bugloss, a tough, reliable shade perennial with heart-shaped leaves and clouds of delicate blue flowers that resemble forget-me-nots. Shade requirements: partial to full shade. Brunnera tolerates morning sun, but needs afternoon shade. It performs excellently in full shade and is one of the best plants for dry shade under trees. Appearance and features: Brunnera forms clumps of large, heart-shaped leaves 12 to 18 inches tall. The foliage is the main attraction. Many varieties have stunning silver variegation, white edges, or silvery overlays that brighten shade gardens. In mid to late spring, airy stems rise above the foliage bearing clusters of small bright blue flowers that look like forget-me-nots. The bloom lasts 3 to 4 weeks. Growing conditions: Brunnera is remarkably adaptable. It tolerates dry shade better than most perennials once established, though it prefers consistent moisture. It grows in average to rich soil, hardy in zones 3 through 8, more cold-hardy than many shade perennials. Best uses: Brunnera is excellent for dry shade under trees, one of the best plants for this challenging spot. Woodland gardens, ground cover and shade. It spreads slowly, edging shady borders with its attractive foliage, and brightening dark areas with silver variegated varieties. Care and maintenance: Brunnera is very low maintenance. Water during establishment, then it can tolerate some drought. Remove faded flower stems if desired. Divide every 5 to 7 years in spring if clumps become too large. Watch for occasional slug damage on leaves. Varieties to try: Jack Frost has silvery leaves with green veining, absolutely stunning. Looking Glass has almost completely silver leaves. Seaheart has large leaves with subtle silver markings, and Variegata has white-edged green leaves. Pros: beautiful silver foliage, pretty spring flowers, tolerates dry shade, very cold-hardy, low-maintenance, and deer-resistant. Cons: slugs can damage foliage, may struggle in hot, humid climates, and silver variegated varieties need some light to show best color. Brunnera is one of the toughest, most reliable shade perennials, with the bonus of stunning foliage. Number 5. Ferns, various species. Coming in at number 5 are ferns. Not a single plant, but an entire group of shade-loving plants that bring incredible texture, elegance, and lushness to shade gardens like nothing else can. Shade requirements: most ferns prefer partial to full shade. Some tolerate deep shade beautifully. Very few ferns tolerate full sun, and those need constant moisture. Appearance and features: ferns offer incredible diversity in size, texture, and form. They range from delicate maidenhair ferns to bold ostrich ferns. Most have finely divided fronds, leaves, that create beautiful feathery or lacy textures. Ferns are among the most ancient plants on Earth and bring a primordial woodland feel to gardens. Many are evergreen or semi-evergreen in mild climates. Best ferns for shade gardens: autumn fern, Dryopteris erythrosora. New fronds emerge copper red, maturing to green. Evergreen, zones 5 to 9. Height, 18 to 24 inches. Japanese painted fern, Ethereum niponicum pictum. Silvery gray fronds with burgundy stems. Stunning, deciduous, zones 4 to 9. Height, 12 to 18 inches. Ostrich fern, Matutia struthiopteris. Large, bold ferns resembling ostrich plumes. spreads to form colonies. Deciduous, zones 3 to 7, height 3 to 5 feet. Lady fern, Ethereum filix femina, delicate, lacy fronds. Very shade tolerant. Deciduous. Zones 4 to 8, height 2 to 3 feet. Christmas fern, Polystichum acrosticoides. Evergreen native fern, extremely cold hardy. Zones 3 to 9, height 18 to 24 inches. Growing conditions. Most ferns prefer rich, moist, well-drained soil high in organic matter. They love woodland conditions with leaf mulch. Hardy zones vary by species. See above. Consistent moisture is important, though many tolerate dry shade once established. Best uses. Ferns are perfect for woodland gardens, planting under trees and shrubs, adding texture to shade borders, naturalizing in wild areas, and creating lush, tropical-looking effects in temperate climates. Care and maintenance. Ferns are very low maintenance. Remove dead fronds in early spring before new growth for deciduous types. Leave evergreen fronds until spring. Mulch with shredded leaves or compost. Water during extended dry periods. Most ferns don't require division, though some spreading types can be divided if desired. Pros. Incredible textural interest. Many are evergreen, very low maintenance, deer-resistant, native options available, and create lush effects in deep shade. Cons. Some can spread aggressively, ostrich fern, may struggle in hot, dry climates, and don't provide flowers. Ferns are essential for creating lush, beautiful shade gardens with incredible texture. Number 4. Lungwort, Pulmonaria species. At number 4 is lungwort, an underappreciated shade perennial with spotted or silver foliage and charming flowers that change color as they age. A true gem for early spring shade gardens. Shade requirements. Partial to full shade. Lungwort tolerates morning sun but needs afternoon shade. It performs excellently in full shade and is one of the earliest bloomers in the shade garden. Appearance and features. Lungwort forms low clumps of elongated leaves 8 to 12 inches tall. The foliage is the star. Many varieties have white spots, silver markings, or completely silver leaves that brighten dark areas. The foliage is evergreen or semi-evergreen in mild climates. In very early spring, often March or April, clusters of tubular flowers emerge in shades of pink, blue, purple, or white. Many varieties have flowers that open pink and age to blue. You'll see both colors on the same plant simultaneously. Growing conditions. Lungwort prefers rich, moist, well-drained soil. It's one of the few shade perennials that tolerates alkaline soil. Hardy in zones 3 through 8. More cold hardy than many shade plants. Best uses. Lungwort is excellent for early spring color in shade. Blooms when little else is flowering. Planting under deciduous trees, edging shady pathways with its attractive foliage, brightening dark areas with silver spotted or silver leaves, and combining with spring bulbs for early season interest. Care and maintenance. After flowering, if foliage looks tired or develops powdery mildew, cut it back to the ground. Fresh new leaves will emerge. Keep soil consistently moist. Divide every 4 to 5 years in early fall if clumps become crowded. Very low maintenance otherwise. Varieties to try. Mrs. Moon has silver-spotted leaves and pink to blue flowers. Majesté has almost completely silver leaves. Stunning. Diana Claire has pure silver leaves, and Raspberry Splash has heavy silver spotting and raspberry pink flowers. Pros very early spring flowers, beautiful spotted or silver foliage, evergreen or semi-evergreen, very cold hardy, and tolerates alkaline soil. Cons. Can develop powdery mildew in dry conditions, easily remedied by cutting back, and foliage may look tired by late summer. Lungwort is a shade garden treasure that provides interest from early spring through fall. Number 3, Caladium bicolor. Here we are at number 3. Caladiums. These are the showstoppers, the plants with foliage so colorful and dramatic that they make people stop and ask, "What is that?" Caladiums bring tropical brilliance to shade gardens with heart-shaped leaves in combinations of red, pink, white, green, and burgundy. Shade requirements: partial to full shade. Caladiums are unusual because they're tropical plants that prefer shade. Full sun scorches the leaves. They perform best in bright shade or dappled light. Appearance and features: caladiums produce large, thin, heart-shaped or arrow-shaped leaves, 6 to 18 inches long on stems 12 to 24 inches tall. The foliage is spectacularly colorful, with patterns combining bright white, hot pink, red, burgundy, and green. Some varieties are predominantly white with green veining, others are bright red with darker edges, and still others have pink centers with green margins. The color combinations are endless and absolutely stunning. Growing conditions: caladiums are tropical plants grown as annuals in most climates, or as tender perennials in zones 9 through 11. They're grown from tubers planted in spring after soil warms. They prefer rich, moist, well-drained soil. They need warmth. They won't perform well until temperatures are consistently above 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Best uses: caladiums are perfect for adding tropical color to shade gardens, planting in containers for patio shade, stunning. Mass planting for dramatic color displays, brightening dark corners with white or pink varieties and creating focal points in shade borders. Care and maintenance: plant tubers in spring after soil warms, or buy as started plants. Keep soil consistently moist, but not waterlogged. Fertilize monthly with balanced fertilizer for best foliage. In fall, before frost, you can dig up tubers, dry them, and store over winter for replanting, zones 8 and colder. Or simply treat as annuals and replace yearly. Varieties to try: White Christmas has white leaves with green veining, glows in shade. Frida Hempel has bright red leaves with green edges. Pink Beauty has pink centers with green margins, and Candidum has white leaves with green veining. Classic variety. Pros: absolutely stunning foliage color, thrives in shade, creates tropical effects, perfect for containers, and provides color all summer. Cons: tender, frost kills them, can be expensive to replace annually, requires warmth to perform well, and all parts are toxic if ingested. Caladiums bring more vivid color to shade gardens than almost any other plant. They're showstoppers. Number 2. Hostas, Hosta species. We've reached number 2. Hostas, the undisputed royalty of shade gardens. With thousands of varieties in every size, color, and texture imaginable, hostas are the backbone of shade gardening, and for very good reason. Shade requirements: partial to full shade. Most hostas tolerate morning sun but need afternoon shade. Blue-leaved and white variegated hostas need more shade, while gold and yellow varieties tolerate more sun. Some varieties thrive in deep shade. Appearance and features: hostas form clumps of foliage ranging from miniature, 4 inches tall, to giant, 4 feet tall. The leaves are the main attraction, coming in shades of blue, green, gold, chartreuse, white, and every combination of variegation imaginable: white-edged, gold-centered, streaked, splashed, and more. Leaf textures range from smooth and glossy to deeply puckered and corrugated. In summer, hostas send up stalks of tubular flowers in white or lavender. Some varieties are fragrant. Growing conditions: hostas prefer rich, moist, well-drained soil. They're remarkably adaptable and will grow in average soil with occasional drought once established. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. More cold hardy than almost any other shade perennial. Best uses: hostas are incredibly versatile, edging shady pathways and borders, mass planting for dramatic ground cover effects, specimen planting, especially giant varieties. Container gardening, smaller varieties, filling in under trees and shrubs, and providing the backbone structure for shade gardens. Care and maintenance. Hostas are very low maintenance. Remove flower stalks after blooming if desired, or leave for seed heads. Cut back dead foliage in late fall or early spring. Divide every 5 to 10 years if you want more plants. But division isn't necessary. The main pest is slugs. Use slug bait, copper barriers, or beer traps if damage is severe. Varieties to try. Just a few of thousands. Sum and substance. Giant gold leaves, slug-resistant. Height 30 inches. Francis Williams. Blue-green leaves with gold edges. Height 24 inches. Patriot. Dark green leaves with wide white margins. Height 18 inches. June. Gold centers with blue-green margins. Height 12 inches. Halcyon. Thick blue leaves, slug-resistant. Height 18 inches. Guacamole. Large chartreuse leaves with dark green margins. Fragrant white flowers. Height 24 inches. Pros. Incredible diversity of sizes, colors, and textures. Very low maintenance. Extremely cold-hardy, long-lived. Provides structure to shade gardens and tolerates deep shade. Cons. Slugs love them, though thick-leaved varieties are more resistant. Deer browse on them in some areas, and they die back completely in winter. Why hostas are number 2. Hostas are the foundation of shade gardening. With thousands of varieties, you can create entire gardens using only hostas and never repeat a plant. They're reliable, beautiful, low maintenance, and versatile. Every shade garden should include hostas. Number 1. Impatiens. Impatiens walleriana and I. Hawkeri. And finally, taking the number 1 spot as the absolute best shade-loving plant for your garden is Impatiens. Yes, these common bedding plants earn the top spot because nothing, and I mean nothing, provides more continuous, colorful flowers in shade than Impatiens. Shade requirements: partial to full shade. Standard Impatiens, I. walleriana, prefer shade and will wilt in full sun. New Guinea Impatiens, I. Hawkeri, tolerate more sun but still perform excellently in shade. Appearance and features. Impatiens form neat, mounded plants 8 to 18 inches tall, covered, and I mean absolutely covered, with flowers from spring through frost. The flowers come in nearly every color except true blue: white, pink, red, orange, coral, purple, and bicolors. They bloom continuously without deadheading. Standard Impatiens have small flowers and green foliage. New Guinea Impatiens have larger flowers and often variegated or burgundy foliage. Growing conditions. Impatiens are tender annuals that die at first frost. They prefer rich, moist, well-drained soil. They need consistent moisture. They'll wilt quickly if too dry. They're the easiest bedding plants to grow from transplants, readily available at every garden center. Best uses. Impatiens are perfect for mass planting for continuous color and shade, filling in containers and hanging baskets for patio shade, edging shady pathways and borders with nonstop color, brightening dark areas with white or bright-colored varieties, and providing instant color while waiting for perennials to mature. Care and maintenance. Water regularly. Impatiens need consistent moisture. Fertilize every 2 to 3 weeks with balanced liquid fertilizer for continuous blooming. No deadheading required. Impatiens self-clean, dropping spent flowers and producing new ones continuously. Replace after frost each spring. Types of Impatiens. Standard Impatiens, I. walleriana. Traditional bedding Impatiens, prefer shade, small flowers. Height, 8 to 12 inches. Note: susceptible to downy mildew in some regions. Check if this is an issue in your area before planting. New Guinea Impatiens, I. Hawkeri. Larger flowers, often variegated foliage. Tolerate more sun. Height 12 to 18 inches. More disease resistant. Sun patiens. Interspecific hybrids that tolerate full sun to shade. Larger plants. Height 18 to 36 inches. Pros: absolutely continuous flowers all season. Incredible color range. No deadheading needed. Thrive in shade. Provide instant color and widely available and inexpensive. Cons: annuals that need replacing yearly, need consistent watering, will wilt if dry, and standard impatiens susceptible to downy mildew in some areas. Why impatiens are number one. While perennials provide structure and foliage interest, nothing beats impatiens for sheer flower power in shade. A bed of impatiens in full bloom is absolutely spectacular, a solid carpet of color that lasts from May through October. They're reliable, easy, beautiful, and inexpensive. For instant gratification and nonstop color in shade, impatiens can't be beaten. Best practice: combine impatiens for summer color with shade perennials like hostas and ferns for structure and foliage interest. This gives you the best of both worlds: colorful flowers and beautiful year-round structure. And there you have it, the 10 best shade-loving plants that are perfect for your garden. From impatiens providing nonstop flowers, to hostas offering incredible foliage diversity, to caladiums bringing tropical brilliance, to ferns creating lush texture. These plants prove that shade gardens can be just as colorful, interesting, and beautiful as sunny gardens. The key to shade gardening success is embracing what shade does well: foliage, texture, cool colors, and plants that don't wilt in summer heat. Stop fighting your shade and start celebrating it. With the right plants, your shady areas can become the most beautiful, sophisticated parts of your garden. Remember to match plants to your specific shade conditions. Partial shade, 3 to 6 hours of sun, supports the widest range of plants including Astilbe, bleeding heart, and coral bells. Full shade, less than 3 hours of sun, is perfect for hostas, ferns, and impatiens. Deep shade under evergreens suits tough plants like Brunnera and certain ferns. And don't forget that many shade plants need moisture. Shade doesn't mean dry. Many shade plants evolved in moist woodland conditions. Water during dry spells and mulch to retain moisture. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you found this information helpful and you're ready to transform your shady spots, please give this video a big thumbs up and share it with other gardeners struggling with shade. And make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our weekly gardening tips. Drop a comment below and let me know. Which shade plant are you most excited to try? What's your biggest challenge with shade gardening? Do you have shade success stories to share? Let's learn from each other. Thanks again for being here. And remember, shade is not a problem. It's an opportunity to grow some of the most beautiful plants that exist. I'll see you in the next video. Happy shade gardening.